Okay, so to get us started with the GMOD online summer school, I've decided to make a short video showing how to create a new Amazon account, Amazon Web Services account, and start up a new machine and shut a new machine down, which we're going to be doing a lot during this course. So to do that, we're going to go to aws.amazon.com. We're going to hit sign up, and let me clear this stuff out. I'm going to pretend that I'm a new user. If you have an Amazon account, you can go ahead and use that one for AWS as well. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just going to pretend I don't have one. Okay, and so now it's going to ask me stuff, who I am, put in a password that's very secure that I won't forget. I'm actually going to throw this away, this account away, after I'm done with this, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so now it wants to ask information about me. I'm going to say it's a personal account. Put in my real phone number. I'll put in my real street address, because I do have to put in a credit card number, even though for this course you really won't need one. You still have to have one to set up the account, because what we're going to do is you're going to get a credit for $100 of Amazon compute time, so we will not need that credit card number unless you really mess something up, but we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. Oh, typo. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll put in a credit card number, but I'm going to edit that out before I post the video. So here we go. Okay, right, and so you had to provide a real phone number because now it's going to call me to prove that I'm really who I say I am. So I will do that, and I'll probably edit out some of this time here while I wait for it to call me. Okay, so I'm back. So I went through the whole identification thing. I'm going to do a basic free support, obviously. Don't have to pay for it. They're actually quite good with the basic support anyway. I've never had a problem with them. Okay, so now I've created my account, and I want to launch the management console. So I'm going to sign in with my real account. Okay, and so when I log into the management console, here's what I get. Mostly what we're going to be using, or I think actually entirely what we're going to be using, is EC2, the virtual servers in the cloud. So I'll click on that. When you click on yours, you will be taken to this page. It will tell you that you have nothing running, anything like this. Okay. The things over here, these items on the left, are things we're going to be using. The things we're going to be using the most are instances, AMIs, we'll use security groups a little bit, and that may be just about it. So the first thing, in order to get something running, we have to find an AMI that we want to launch. So an AMI is an Amazon machine image. These are basically kind of frozen servers that we can just take and make a copy of for ourselves and use it. So we'll go to AMIs, and again, you'll click here, and it'll be an empty page. There's a bunch that are owned by me because it's my account, but you'll see an empty page here. And so we want to look for public images and search for GMOD. And when we do that, we should see a bunch of things here, a bunch of GMOD in the cloud instances. We'll find the most recently released one, which is this GMOD in the cloud 2.05. That's a few months old now. So in order to start this one up, I'll click on it so that the little blue thing gets selected there. And then up here, a list of actions I can take. That creates a drop-down menu. The other thing you can do is right-click or control-click to get a pop-up menu. That's usually what I do. I usually control-click and launch a new instance. And then it's going to walk me through deciding what instance to use. So there's a lot of different options. One of the things, if you just created an Amazon Web Service account that's really nice, is that you can run a micro instance for free for an entire year. And so if, micro instances are fine if all you're going to be doing is like really simple stuff, maybe some text editing, nothing real complicated, but it's terrific because if all you need to do is like, install some software or edit some configuration files just to see if what you're doing works, it's great. I mean, they feel kind of like a Pentium 2 laptop that's 10 years old, but still, it's free, so might as well use it. For most things, we'll want something a little bit bigger, and I'll tell you when we're creating something, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So a typical thing we would use would be a small, which is slightly bigger. It's got a little bit more memory. You see it's got almost 2 gigs of memory versus the just a little over a half a gig of memory on the micro instance. And then for some of the things we're doing, in particularly, I think Galaxy will require a bigger machine, might require a medium or maybe a large. But most of the time we can get away with a small. But for right now, we'll just start a micro instance because we don't really care. We're just going to start it up, see that it works, and shut it back down. And so we've selected micro instance. We hit review to make sure things are right. So yeah, so there we go. It's a micro instance. Right now it says we can only log in with SSH. That's the only way you can get to this machine, which means you can't use HTTP. So really what we'd like to do is edit security groups and add HTTP as something we can use to connect to this machine. So I'm just going to add that, and by doing that and hit review and launch, now I can get to it via HTTP, which is a web browser. Instance details, I don't think I have to change anything here. No. Storage is what just comes default with it. This is it has 2 drives, one that's 8 gigs and one that's 5. It's pretty small, but it's usable. There are no tags, but I would like to edit it just to give it a name so that I can find it later. So I'll edit it, and because people always do that, that's the first thing that's the default, is the name. So this is my throwaway machine. Okay, and I'll save that by hitting review and launch. And I think I've done everything I need to do here. We'll say launch, and so when I hit launch, what it does is asks me if I want to create or use an existing key pair. So key pairs are things that I can use to log into the machine using SSH. I have some key pairs that I use for stuff, but we'll go through making a new one. So I'll create a new key pair. This will be online summer school is what I will call this pair so that I can find it. And then I will say download it. It will generate it. It's downloading down my machine. Terrific. Now I've got it. And I will hit launch instance. Okay, so now it's launching. I can click over here and say view instances, and it'll take me to the list of all the instances. Like I've said, I've got a whole bunch of them sitting around. You'll only have one that will look like this, and right now it's in the process of starting up, so it says pending. Let's make sure that I got my my key. Online summer school pem.text. Well, that's not right. It's supposed to be pem, so I'm just going to take that text off of there. No, use pem. Okay, and also the thing with private keys is they have to be private. And so I just want to make sure that it is only readable by my account. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I can't make it. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay. We'll come back here. It still says it's initializing. Chances are I can get to it. What happens is Amazon is starting up this virtual machine. If you've ever used something like Parallels or VMware or VirtualBox, it's like that, except Amazon has it on their machine instead of like running on my laptop. And so what they do is they give it a machine name, and that machine name is down here, right where it says public DNS. That's the name of the machine. Okay, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to create a new tab here. There we go. And I'm going to put that in my browser window and see if the web server is running on that machine yet. While I'm waiting for that, it still says, well, now it says it's running. That's a little better, but it's going through status checks, making sure that it started up correctly. So that can take a little bit of time. If I come back here, oh, well, that didn't take long, actually. So that is this is a brand new machine that 5 minutes ago didn't exist, and now it is a GMOD in the cloud instance that has some sample data on it. It has gbrowse, it has jbrowse, it has Chado, it has triple, it has, what did I miss? Something. It has gbrowse syn, because that comes with gbrowse. Anyway, it's got a bunch of GMOD, really useful GMOD software. Oh, Web Apollo, I may not have said that. That might have been the one I missed. But anyway, so that's good. So that shows that it works. The other thing, if we wanted to connect to this machine remotely, we could open up a terminal. If you're using Windows, you'll want to get something like PuTTY and find out how to use that with a private public key combination. But to log into it, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, even though it'll be, there we go, it'll be easier to read that way. Okay, so to log into it on the command line, I can type SSH-I onlinesummerschool.pem. Yeah, that's what it's called. That was the name of my key. And then the username on the machine is called Ubuntu. And then I can paste in the name of the machine. I just copied it. So you can't use that machine because after this demo's over, or after this video's over, I'm going to delete it. But whatever your machine name is, that thing that starts with EC2 and ends with .com, I can hit return. It's going to ask me, do you really trust this machine? Because you've never connected to it before. You have to type yes. Oh, see, it did have a problem. So if we look, if we do an ls-l on that online summer school file, if you look at this, these characters over here tell me what the permissions are in this file. And SSH is very paranoid about permissions and security, and it feels that if this key is readable by other people on my computer, then it's not secure. So I actually have to remove read permissions, which I have to do on the command line. So the way to do that is change mod. There are numbers. If you've seen numbers after change mod, you can use those too, but I prefer the letters. So I take other and group, and I subtract read, like that. Okay? And then if I do the same thing, ls, see, the two R's, these two R's went away. So that means that the only person that has read permission on it is my account. So now if I just arrow up back to that SSH, now I should be able to connect to that machine. It'll be a little slow. Like I said, these micro machines are not exactly fast, but they do work. So we just have to be a little patient. Okay, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. So this is, now I'm at this machine that's in Amazon somewhere. I think it's in Virginia. Let's see. Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to show that it works. So I can exit back out of there and come back over to Safari. We see that the machine works. That's fine. After we are, excuse me, after we are done with a machine, we absolutely want to shut it down if we're not using it. There are options for shutting it down, just like in the AMI section. You can either use this actions thing up here, or you can right-click on the thing you want to operate on. So I'm just going to right-click on it and get this pop-up menu. There's a lot of options here. Some aren't available right at the moment. And I will show you how some of these work throughout the course. But down here are the things that we really want to do. What we don't want to do, don't select terminate, because terminate, well, you can select terminate if you don't care. So for instance, this image, maybe we could select terminate, because what terminate means is shut it down and throw everything away. Okay. During most of this course, we'll probably want to use stop, because stop means just shut it down and leave everything the way it is. But just don't leave the machine running, because then you don't have to pay for it. While it's running, it costs money, right? And so if you're not using it, stop it, and you don't have to pay for it. You only have to pay for the storage, and the storage is extremely cheap, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and select stop, because that's the thing I must always do, even if I'm pretty sure I want to terminate. So I'm going to let it stop, and in a little while I'll throw it away. Okay. If I wanted to throw it away after I've stopped it, I can do the same thing. I can select terminate here, even after it's stopped, and then that will just throw it away. So let's see. So I think I've covered everything I want to. Hopefully I can edit this thing down to make sense and not have it take so terribly long, but it's pretty straightforward. Other things that I should mention is we're going to be working entirely in this North Virginia region. There are multiple regions. Even though I realize there are people who are elsewhere in the world taking this course, if we all stay in one region, it'll make life easier on all of us. For one thing, if you're not in North Virginia and you search for those GMOD in the cloud instances, you won't find them because they don't move from region to region unless I move them around and pay to have them moved around. So I'd rather just have them in one place. You can copy, if you wanted to run it somewhere close to you, if it was cheaper for you or easier for you, if you wanted to use something, if you're in Europe or whatever, and use that, you can do it. But just for this course, let's just keep everybody in Northern Virginia, and hopefully it'll be okay. And I think that is it. So I'll talk to you on Monday morning. Okay.